Greetings and salutations. It's another edition of Bible study here at the what? Ephesian Primitive Baptist Church, 1506 22nd Avenue North, Nashville, Tennessee, or Dr. J. Lucius Fitzgerald Senior Way, same place, same address, same building, same block. We're grateful for this opportunity that we have with you, ma'am and sir, boy and girl, to study the Bible. One of the things we've been doing in this Lenten season is studying the leadership style of Peter, the leadership lessons Peter has learned. I'm deviating slightly at this 6 o'clock hour because I want to tap into this. And after this, we will get back into our Jordan River rules. I promise you. Remember, Jordan River said the same God that led you out will lead you on. So I'm grateful for this space and place. Again, we are in studio here where at 330 10th Avenue North, Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, we are downtown at the TSU campus, and we are grateful for this space and this opportunity to record in this professional area. Bible study here at Ephesian. Bible study, you should see the slide coming up. Bible study. You and I need to learn some things from the book of Acts, from the book of 1st and 2nd Peter, from the Gospels, all how all about how Peter's leadership uh, gave him the credibility to lead. That's what I've been talking about in our uploads. But tonight we're focusing on the next objectives. What is a leader? What is a leader? You need to know. Identify what a leader is. Identify what does a leader need to learn in order to lead. And identify what these leaders learned in our scripture references that are given today. And then share those out. You know, we will beef up the objectives as we move on further in this study. So, what is a leader? John Maxwell said some things, and we'll start out with him, thought-provoking leader, some of the things he shared and said with us. He says this. He reminds us that leadership is not about position. It's about impact. You don't need a title to be a leader. If people are watching you, you are influencing them. 4 areas you lead. The 4 areas. Everybody put in the chat 4. 4. F-O-U-R. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. I can't say it in Aramaic. I can't say it in Greek, nor can I say it in Coptic or French. So I'm limited to English and Spanish. 4 areas in which you influence. 4. Put 4 in the chat. It's not limited to these 4, but you definitely can use these 4 and need these 4 if you're going to lead. Number 1, you lead by your character. Number 2, you lead by your consistency. Number 3, you lead by your conversations. And 4, you lead by your conduct. And when I tell you in this season of leadership, I am very much cognizant of the conversations I even have. I know. Character is one thing, and that's where it all rises and falls. But you got to even be careful who you talk to and talk with and what you discuss with that person. The old folks said this, and it has its weight in gold. Be careful of the dog who carries his own bone. And when you in leadership, especially church leadership or organizational leadership, you will have some dogs that will carry their own bone. Isn't it interesting and funny how some people just show up and call you when they want to talk to you about what they want to talk about, when they want to talk about it, and how they want to talk about it? Watch the conversations you're having as a leader. Let me lift this passage up to you. They was walking through Caesarea Philippi. And as they were walking through Caesarea Philippi, one of the things that was asked from a leaders who men Say that I am one leader. Yes. Talking to other leaders, having a conversation about what the people were saying. So, as a leader, you learn or you influence by your conversations, of course, by your conduct, by your character, and by your consistency. Jesus never gave up on his mission. He said, I came to seek and save that which was lost. So we are grateful that Jesus Christ, through his leadership, influenced by his character. I am that I am. I am the true vine. I am the way, the truth, and the light. I am uh, the sheep door. I am the good shepherd. I am water. I am bread. That was his character. And he communicated that often. Maxwell also says this: influence can build or it can destroy. Influence can build or destroy. So the real question is not, are you a leader? The question is, what kind of influence are you? How can I use my influence to better the kingdom? Again, John Maxwell reminds us that leadership is not about position, it's about impact. And anything you impact, you influence. So let's move on to the leader acrostic. When you talk about leadership, you know, I love to do certain things and make sure that these things that we do are advantageous to learning. We know that a leader is a learner, always growing. A leader is an example, models what they teach. A leader believes in accountability, is responsible for God and people. A leader is disciplined, consistent, and focused. A leader is empowering, builds others up. And a leader practices resilience, endures pressure and opposition. If you're going to be a leader, those examples listed, not limited to those, but those are some of the things that you and I must be able to exhibit if we are definitely leaders. And I'm grateful today that my leadership, your leadership, the people that I have conversation with, the people that I am not only in conversation with, building character with, the people that I see their conduct and their consistency exhibit those traits. And when you're going to select and elect leaders, make sure you're not selecting and electing leaders based upon your personal preference, because it's so easy to get caught up and elected the people who look like you, who sound like you, who even think like you, even when you're thought provoking. That's a thought that provokes division rather than development. So we're grateful for what John Maxwell has said. We're grateful for the acrostic of leaders. Now we need to go into some biblical text in John. What did the leader learn in John 21? What did the leader Peter learn in John 21? This is where it gets interesting. I promise y'all, I wish we were in person so that you and I could be able to interact and dialogue. So while this is being played for you and you're replaying and reposting this, prayerfully, someone will be on with you to interact with you. John 21. Turn in your Bibles to John 21. What did the leader learn? Number one, we learned from this lesson in John 21 that failure is not final. Failure is not final. John 21:15 through 17. Jesus restores Peter after his denial. And you and I, as leaders, must learn restoration, love, responsibility, and sacrifice. And Jesus exhibits that in John 21 because he restores Peter after denial. Luke 22:61 through 62. We don't have to turn there. You can go there. Number two, what did Peter learn? Number one, failure is not final. Number two, love is the qualification for leadership.
For the pastor,
Yes,
since we know that failure is not final
it's not final.
and love is the qualification for leadership,
Yes.
don't you think, or do you think that God had to make sure that he was a loving leader to allow us to fall and fail at times, but to not be forgotten?
That's right. That God knew or that Peter knew? Who's knowing?
I would say that God knew.
Well, we know God knows all. He's omniscient, and through his omniscience, we believe that. But there are times in the knowing of God, God shares his knowing with us. And I love it when God shares his knowing with us so that we can know he's loving and he believes in restoration and the restorative process, and how the restorative process is not a snap your finger or punch a button. The restorative process is truly restorative. When you take an old vehicle and begin to restore it, or restoring a house, anything that needs restoration, listen, depending on how bad it's been damaged.
Oh,
Oh, jeez. Huh. Yes, shut up. Huh? The greater the damage, the greater the restoration, the longer the process. And the more it costs in the natural. So we understand Peter gets to know that Jesus restores. Then two, love is the qualification for leadership. Simon, lovest thou me? Feed. Feed. I wish I was in my key. Feed. Because one of the things I've learned from my parents, grandparents, great grandparents, I know, Romero, they didn't feel like cooking, but they know we had to eat. Hmm. They didn't feel like fixing food, but I know they know we had to eat, huh?
yeah.
And then I learned something. Old folks used to say, "Don't ever cook while you're mad.
Wow.
Don't ever fix the food when you're in anger, because the spirit will get in the food." I learned that from some old folk, but I know now. Peter knew that the thing he walked away from was going to have to be the thing he walked directly toward and to, which was continuing to feed the sheep. And he said, Peter, it's not about how much you love them, how much you love me. Because there will be some challenges and opposition between you and them where emotionally you won't feel like it, but you still have to do it. And that's what I love about responsibility. Responsibility never says, how much do you care or what you feel like? Responsibility says you got to do it regardless, because you're responsible. And leadership equals responsibility. So feed my sheep. Love is the qualification for leadership. Feed, lovest thou me. Feed my lambs, feed my sheep, feed my flock. Don't stop feeding. Don't stop feeding. And this is what I learned from feeding people, feeding myself. The people you feed don't know what they have an appetite for till you start feeding them.
Yeah.
So if you want them to be exegetical, start feeding them exegesis. If you want them to be philosophical, start feeding them philosophy. If you want them to be theological, start feeding them a little theology. If you want them to be practical, feed them a little practicality. If you want whatever you want them to start liking and loving, you got to start feeding it. If you want them to be relational, start feeding them relationship. Feed my sheep. Love is the qualification for leadership. That's number two. And number one, failure is not final. Peter had to learn that. Thirdly, leadership requires responsibility. Oh, Jesus. As aggravated as we get sometimes with the sheep, with the people, with the systems, with the culture, with the climate, with the change, You're still responsible. You and I are still responsible. So make sure that a leader must learn restoration. A leader must learn love. And a leader must learn responsibility. Fourthly, a leader must learn sacrifice. You will suffer. You will suffer and glorify God even in death. To be a leader is to be sacrificial. And this suffering is not to be compared with the glory,
yes, sir,
that shall be revealed in us. You're going to suffer as a leader. Going back to John Maxwell, that slide talked about leadership as influence. I want you to see this again. Maxwell says this: leadership is not about position. It's about impact. And where are you in your 4 C's? You and I both need to know where we are. By our character, our consistency, by our conversations, and by our conduct. Leadership can build or destroy. So the real question is not, are you a leader? The real question is, what kind of influence are you? And how can I use my influence to better the kingdom?
Now, I know this is Bible study,
yes,
but in Bible study, we are supposed to ask theological and philosophical and deep-depth questions so that we can learn and be leaders and be influential to the people of God. So if you are a leader and you have great character, but your consistency is not consistent, are you not a leader, or are you still a leader? Like, I'm trying to figure out the proper way to word the question.
You're still leading, but there's a lot of inadequacies in your leadership because consistency is part of it. I mean, that's part of leadership. Jesus was all of them all the time. He was always consistent. Therefore, that's what made him a good leader. Paul was consistent. Peter's consistency was brought into question. He said, why are you doing what you are doing? You've had somebody swept away in your dissimulation. Yes, your hypocrisy, one writer says, because you don't want to eat with the Gentiles, the people of God, the people that God was making to be his people. So if you're a leader, you're going to be consistently doing something. It's not the great leader who can do 10 things well, Romero. It's the great leader who does one thing well and gets one thing done through 10 people. Sometimes we as leaders want to do 10 things well, but no, if you can get that one thing done through 10 people, look at the impact that you're having on the culture and climate.
So as a leader, we should not stress over what we can't change.
Oh, Jesus. You better stop. And you can never change people.
Ooh. You know what? I'll say
you can
this.
change your baby. Look, you change your baby's diaper because what? It got mess in it. And as a leader, if you're not careful, the only thing you'll be changing is mess.
Yep. Going on home now. And you know what, the other day, and this is something that I was dealing with the other day, I was in my car and I heard the sound of my brake, my rotor.
Mm-hmm.
See, I knew that my rotors needed to be replaced. I didn't fuss about it. I didn't cry about it. I just went to go get my rotors changed and keep on going.
I'm taking that note.
But guess what? Later on that day, somebody was giving me an attitude just over something that happened to them.
Okay.
Now,
that's fine.
Right. And it's fine. And I understand it. I would have enjoyed it if I was able to stop their attitude or stop their complaining and stop their stressing about what was going on in their life. But I realized I couldn't change them because there are a lot of things that I want to change in people. And there are some things that people want to change in me. But I can never change people. I can only change the things I own. I can change my tire. I can change my car. I can change my clothes. I can change my glasses. I can change phones. I can change numbers and addresses. But one thing I can't change
is people.
It's people.
So stop working so hard at it.
Because it ain't your job to complete or work them. The Bible says, and he that began, I wish I had a church in here today. Who is the he?
That begun a good work will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ.
He's working on Psalms 100. It is he
that made us, not we ourselves.
Ooh, stop working on people who God's already working on.
And just work with God.
While he's working on them.
Work with God while he works on them. Because sometimes as leaders, we start working on them while God is working on them. So you have to have a spirit of discernment to say, God, what are you working on in them? And let me encourage that work. Because if I start working on them my way and God is working on him the right way, the people might be confused about the work and how they being worked on.
They'll be confused about the work and the way to go.
Always. Slide 22 and we'll land our plane and get ready for next week, y'all. I promise you. And follow us daily as we talk about Peter and leadership, because it's very important that you understand this. What is one leadership lesson you need to apply in your life this week? And I'll give you this. Go back to those 4 C's. Do you need to be more consistent? Do you need to work on your character? Do you need to be what? Your conduct, your conversations. Choose one. Which one do you want to work on? Which one? And I'm serious. Like, which one? You and I need to know that. Listen, thank you for tuning in for Bible book study at Ephesian Primitive Baptist Church. We know that's what we have been studying, but we are on this leadership from failure to fulfillment. Some great things are coming out of this. Thank you, Peter, for showing us and enlightening us on the authenticity of your walk with God and how you walked worthy, even though when you were falling and tripping, you were still in the will of God. And remember, even in failure, there's not so much deliberate. God still has a work for you. So stop tripping and start walking. Peace.